So I am delighted to welcome a Pledgeball ambassador, actually, Lagom Chef. Is that how you'd like to be introduced?
Yeah. I suppose that's what everyone knows me as. I get shouted at a lot on the tube. It's like, "Oi, Lagom." So yeah, Lagom Chef Martyn is my name. It's my real name.
I actually only recently, not even in prepping for this podcast, realised what Lagom means.
It's brilliant. It's really
It
good.
is brilliant.
Yeah. That's why I chose it. So I got Swedish sort of like rough heritage with my wife's sister's boyfriend who's Swedish, and when I set my business up, I was like, I don't want to call myself Martin. I just, I needed a name. And then he said, what about Lagom? And I was like, it's wonderful. So yeah, not too much, not too little, just right.
And it sounds delicious, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah. It's all about, but like, it's basically like the definition of balance. It's like a Swedish philosophy that they don't really like. Doesn't have a meaning, but it roughly translates to balance.
That's what I saw was just enough.
Yeah, just enough.
So before we delve into a little bit about what you do, I'm going to first, from a sustainability point, talk about why we're talking about food. Now, just this week, there was an article that was released by the Climate Crisis Advisory Group that basically put methane, the product of wasted, food rotting, as the emergency brake when it comes to climate change. And it broke it down into three things as being the biggest contributors to that. And one of them was obviously food and food waste, because it sits there and it rots and it releases methane. And the amazing thing about methane is that, first, it's 80 times more potent than what we all know as being the biggest greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide. But also, it breaks down much more quickly, which means that if we start cutting methane, very quickly we see the results of that. The other thing is that food waste stats are incredible, aren't they?
They're out of hand.
Can you go into a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you've come to doing that?
Yeah. First off, I think there is. I did a panel talk the other week with, I think his name's Chris, one of the top dogs at FareShare, and he wanted to differentiate the difference between food waste and food loss, because you can bracket everything under food waste, like you were saying about rotting food and all this kind of stuff, but then it's way more complicated when it gets down to like farm level, because they're having to figure out ways of using this surplus. Like the way he explained it was that 1 year you would need to make 10,000 units of carrots. So then the next year you get quoted for 15,000 units of that. But then if you have a bad summer, if you have a bad winter and the crop doesn't happen, that's loss. That's not waste. That's just like part of like the process of being a farmer and supermarkets doing their thing and not wanting to take your produce. So there's a big complicated area down this end of the system. But my focus is on the top end, right at the top of the funnel, where it's like household food waste. So when I first started my channel, I've been a chef all my life, but when I first started it and looking into food waste, 70% of all food waste comes from homes, like UK homes specifically. And I was like, that is mental. Like, how is that even possible with, production, manufacturing, hotels, restaurants, the lot? But the fact of the matter, all this food gets produced, and then we are the ones that are buying it, and then we are the ones that are wasting it. And it's such a sad reality. And that's why I was like, I could make more of a dent focusing on households, because I can communicate directly to people in their homes through social media and, just being a general idiot and sort of like breaking down this myth that food waste is complicated to solve. And that's where my saying came from: eat the food you buy. If you can tell,
eat the food you buy, not eat everything you buy. That was the bit.
Well, it's everything. Like eat everything, not your sofa, but basically, eat the food you buy is just my saying, because people come to me and like, oh, it's way more complicated than that. I'm like, yes, it is down that end of the system, but this end in your home, there is no more complicated solution.
That is difficult, isn't it? Like, I guess from what I'm thinking about while you're talking about that is like the difficulty of walking around a supermarket now, which is not necessarily set up to help you buy the food you only went in there for. It's sort of like, oh, why don't you also pick up this? And I'm kind of thinking now that we could do with a supermarket where they just don't have any offer bits or anything that just kind of, is discounted stuff in your face.
But this is the thing, though. There's like two sides to it. There's like, we can continually blame a system of a supermarket that's probably never going to change because of all of that complicated nonsense which happens down this end. or we can just take control of what we're doing. So if you buy a bag of carrots, just bloody eat them. If you're going to make a soup, make a soup. If you're going to have it in like a salad, there is hundreds of ways to eat a carrot. We're just so quick to go, well, it's not my fault. It's the supermarkets for bagging them up in massive bags. If only I could buy one potato. Yes, if we're not doing that, give it to a neighbour. Eat it. Turn it into jacket potatoes.
Or tell the supermarket. That's the other thing. I mean, this is absolutely how I feel generally about climate and sustainability. Is we feel like we can't do anything. We feel like it's structural issues and that we can't do anything. But actually, through our own choices, it's already putting pressure on. There was that stat a couple of years ago, I think, that Google said that one of the most Googled terms was how to do this sustainably or how to do that sustainably. There is a huge amount of desire out there, but people don't feel like they can act on it.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam Matterface and I'm giving you a quick update on how your pledges are shaping up the Pledgeball League table. Fans across the country are getting involved and getting together with those pledges. They are translating into a real impact, not just for the planet, but for your clubs as well. Here's how the top 10 is looking right now. Forest Green Rovers in at number 10, 9,640 kilograms of CO2 emissions saved. At 9, a big jump, 4,000 more kilograms of CO2 emissions saved by Leeds United. At 8, Arsenal with 13,389 kilograms of CO2 emissions saved. Liverpool then come in at number 7. Manchester United at number 6. They've got 15,824 kilograms of CO2 saved. But get this, Tottenham Hotspur, a massive jump. In at number 5, 28,288 kilograms of CO2 emissions saved. Huddersfield Town then come in at 4, 29,752. Queen's Park Rangers at 3, a huge jump, 53,977. And then at number 2, last year's champ Millwall, 149,186 kilograms of CO2 emissions saved. And Northampton Town occupy the top spot, 165,072 kilograms of CO2 saved. Well done, everyone. Remember, there's still plenty to play for, even if it's just a handful of pledges. You can push your team up the league table. Get involved, join the Pledgeball community at pledgeball.org and get pledging on behalf of your team. With every pledge, you'll also be entered into a prize draw to win an invitation to next season's prestigious Football Supporters Association Awards ceremony. And speaking from experience, it's a very good night, so you'll enjoy it. Remember, together, we can protect where we play.
Right, we're now going to take a nice little segue into looking back in time. When you're 11.
Do the effect.
Yeah.
And you played for Ipswich.
I did, yeah. The Ipswich School of Excellence.
It's a real place.
So
it's a very real place. It sounds real.
Can you? Well, you've got the T-shirt to prove it, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually got the box sent through from my mum, which had the T-shirt. I've still got the socks and a jumper. So yeah,
this guy really does live
and
sustainably. He just wears the same clothes from 11 until whatever stage you're at. No, I told them I'd take the T-shirt, I'd take the socks, and I will keep these on for the rest of my life.
That's it. Just upcycle them. My son will wear them at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when we're looking at football grounds, mass catering, obviously we're going to look at the food waste there. So we will, producer Jack, look at hotel breakfast to start with, because they produce a crazy amount of waste, don't they? So he wanted me to look at some of the hotels in UAE which brought in a green breakfast. Were you aware of this?
What is a green breakfast?
I know we've talked about hotel breakfast. So the buffet breakfast when you can basically load up your plate with whatever.
They're great.
So
they're really good.
They are great, but they do generate around almost 3 times as much food waste per guest at this buffet than normal plated breakfast service. And they've shown that if you have smaller plates, so you just don't have your big plates, you can actually reduce this by about 20%. But what Hilton brought in was a green breakfast initiative across 13 UAE hotels, which actually reduced the breakfast waste by about 62% in 4 months.
So what is that? What is a green? Because I'm just thinking it's salads and cucumbers and those things.
Exactly.
Now. I'm just thinking of green
What
foods.
is wrong with you? No, we're talking
green bananas.
Your bloody mango and your hot chocolate. No, we're talking, How long have you... Okay, when you go to a hotel breakfast, you know, they have scrambled eggs, they've got bacon, they've got sausages, they've got fruit, they've got yogurt, you know.
But when you called it green, I just started thinking of green foods.
Oh, I see.
So
Oh, sorry.
what I'm thinking is, how did they make it more like, did
No,
they
no,
just
so here
serve
you
less
go.
of it, or what did they do?
So these are the things they did. Buffet design was optimized, it says here. So they reduced overproduction. They adjusted how much they kind of kept filling it up, and they cut portion sizes. But apparently, the very high waste items were breads and pastries. I've heard that as well. Is that is that a thing?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that's wasted, or most common things, is bread, isn't it, and wheat products. Staff were trained and coached regularly using waste data and reports to adjust quantities and kitchen behaviour. Food waste types were scrutinised, so, you know, they were categorised into bread and pastry, eggs, porridge, etc. were flagged as hot spots and targeted for reduction. And does anyone eat porridge in a hotel breakfast?
If it's really good, I suppose, if it's got like a really nice topping or something, you might try it. Or maybe if it's novel.
I mean, I'm going to stop asking you for...
No, but I mean, some people just like I was chatting with my wife about this the other day. It's like some people hate making porridge. So if they have porridge, they'll just get it because they don't normally like the, you know, stirring in the pan and all that stuff.
Okay, I suppose so. That seems like a wasted hotel breakfast. So they did all of this, and they actually achieved a 62% reduction in overall food waste. Pre-consumer waste, so as in before it comes out, dropped by 76%. And the post-consumer waste, the guest plates, actually reduced by 55%. But the crazy thing is how much it saved from landfill, which was 17,000 meals. But I can't see over what time. Over a year, which is equal to 726 tons of carbon dioxide equivalents.
Yeah.
So gases, which is massive.
The kind of like when you say it out loud, it just makes so much sense because you said initially that the amount of waste that was, or less waste that was created by serving people an actual breakfast. And then all they've done is taken the buffet model, but then actually served you just the amount that you should really have. Like we went on a really bougie holiday about 2 years ago, and the buffet breakfast was ridiculous. But you had to go up and say, "Oh, can I have a couple of eggs? How many do you want?" You're not going to say, "Oh, I'll have 6." Like if you was to go up to a buffet and just slide them onto your plate. So he was like, I'll have an omelette, yeah, just 2 eggs, lovely, you know, done. So you've kind of just technically ordered your meal, and you know they're cooking it to order. And this is where it's tricky because there's the disparity between custom that you can do for bougie places. But if you're at like a travel lodge or a Premier Inn, they've probably got half the amount of staff to do the job of this lot, and they just need to churn it out and just get it out the door. And do the chefs care? That's the main thing. It's the main thing, like with anything. It's like when you're cooking at home, do you really care? If you care, you'll create less waste. If the chefs don't care, if they don't buy into it, then they'll still carry on creating waste.
So I want to have a look at some of the football clubs now, and I want your thoughts, I guess, around what they're doing. Some is around reducing emissions in other ways, aside from food waste, but still related to food. But also what you think could be a kind of way forward with this. So we'll start off with Forest Green Rovers, the obvious. Obviously the first football club in the world to go fully vegan. And as you know, I've seen a lot of those Forest Green Rovers t-shirts saying chips are vegan. All catering is plant-based. So you've got pies, burgers, curries. I have actually been lucky enough to go and eat there in hospitality, and the food was amazing. Really, really good. It's basically become part of their identity. So FIFA obviously recognise them as the greenest club in the world, and their message is obviously to fans that you can still have that, you know, well, maybe not to Laurence, but for most fans, you can still have that traditional football food, but it, you know, that tastes great, but it has less of an impact on our environment.
So I can still have the mango smoothie and feel all right about that, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's vegan.
Yeah,
it's vegan. There's no yogurt in that.
We won't look at the food miles on that. We'll just look at the vegan. Yeah. Okay. I wonder actually what would you think, Laurence, if Liverpool went fully vegan?
I think it was fine. I think most of the time people underestimate vegan food, don't they? And they just don't understand what it is. Whereas I lived with my cousin who was vegan for a little while and we had some great meals. I think generally, and this is the case with most people and things online, it's easy to say something negative about someone that's not standing right in front of you or someone who's kind of not in close proximity. But the second that you meet someone who's kind of experiencing those things, it actually becomes a lot less scary or a lot less, whatever you want to call it, loaded. And actually, I don't think that many Liverpool fans would mind if they didn't eat a beef burger in the ground or whatever, or, I don't think it's that much of a big deal to them. So I also, the main thing I think it is? A lot of people they don't want to have it marketed. They just literally want it to happen and it just be a thing. And we don't need you to tell us every 10 seconds that it is vegan or whatever. We just need you to just do it. And don't claim the credit. Don't claim any of the other. Just get on with it. And then it maybe won't be so problematic for some people out there.
Well, it doesn't create that label then either, does it?
Exactly, yeah.
To your point, Laurence, if you talk to somebody who are on opposite sides of the argument, and I won't name any political parties or political, supporters.
I don't think you can name any political party right now that's on our side.
Let's not go down this road.
Yeah.
But if you speak to two people about veganism, you talk to them about climate change, there isn't an argument to be had there. Yes, you're absolutely fine to eat what you would like to eat. And yes, all of us really would like to improve the world in which we live. But you're right, the labels that have gone on top of that make it so overcomplicated that we tend to feel like we disagree with each other, even if you boil it down. We all want the same thing. We all want those clean air, those green spaces. It's become massively overcomplex.
It's the marketing of it as well. But I'm going to tell you.
What's that?
It's the marketing of it as well, I think, mostly. Like, if we had this conversation, I think, when we first met, if every club was told there has to be one game where you can't fly to your away game in Europe, in the Champions League or whatever competition it is they're in, and that every club had to do it at least once during their, during the 7 or 8 games, then people would just see it as part of the competition. And it's just part of it. But it doesn't have to be this big thing about marketing and those kind of, it just needs to be just part of the way that people live life rather than this big marketing exercise and everything else.
So we're gonna dive into some other football stadiums now. We're going to look at Spurs. They have a 0 to landfill policy at their new stadium. So they do a lot of food redistribution. And I know certain other clubs do a lot of food redistribution as well.
What does that mean?
So at the end of the games, the foods that they're allowed to redistribute or to take and donate elsewhere, they give to local shelters, for example. The issue, I guess, with that is I know certainly Bristol City, it has to be the unopened food, doesn't it?
Otherwise, there's some sort of legal issue around whether someone's taken a bite of something already or whether it's touched the wrong thing. Right.
It's all weird, like if you've cooked it at like holding temperatures and all of that kind of stuff. If it's been sat there for like 3 hours during the match and then it's going to sit in a hot box for another 3-4 hours before someone eats it, you don't want to go around killing local communities. It's not a good idea. I don't think it'll look good for the club.
For the last clubs that I will flag then are Liverpool, specifically for Laurence. The background that I did prepare for him was of their beautiful food digester. And then, of course, Man City, who are trialling waste tracking in catering. So I guess what I really want is an understanding of where you think the biggest waste comes from. Is it pre or post consumer, like it was with the kitchens? And then I want to move on to talking about A, what individual clubs can do, but B, do you think this is something that should be regulated within the industry?
I tell you what it comes down to. It comes down to options, doesn't it? Our day out, I'm going to say rugby. I'm just going to talk about rugby for a bit. When I go to Twickenham and I have the best day of my life watching rugby.
Sorry, it's Swift.
There's, however many food stands that are going along. And it's because it's a day out. It's not like, it's going my day to day. It's like, I'm having a day out. I want to have and pick and choose whatever I want. And I get that. That's like, an amazing thing. But the way that the hospitality, i.e. talking about the top end like we did with the hotels, and then the bottom end, they know numbers. They know I'm going to have 2,000 people through this door. They're going to have X, Y, Z done. Simple like that. It's so easy to track numbers when you know the numbers that are coming in. If you're at a stadium and you're like going, right, there's 80,000 people that are going to be here today. How many are we going to get? Is it better to sell out and annoy people? But then you could be like, mate, we could have sold another 500 people. It's that tricky balance of like knowing what you can do.
Right. I have a quiz for the pair of you. Are you ready for this?
Can't wait to get mocked again.
Okay. I'm not. Oh no, is that what this has been about?
No.
Right. Are you ready? This is called Food for Thought. I like that. Right. Laurence, you are up against Martyn.
What, the guy who's going to know all of this stuff?
Are you ready?
Who
he
plays
might
up
not.
front for
He hates
Liverpool?
football, so a lot of this is
Fair
football based. Tennis has a tennis. Okay, question 1. On a single match day, how many tons of waste do you think Wembley Stadium produces?
Didn't you just say?
It better be 1, otherwise I wasn't listening.
Not just food waste. This can't be food waste, because if it is food waste, then the head chef's just lied to you.
Yeah.
Oh my god, as the head chef, but maybe it's just his little restaurant.
I
Maybe
think
it's
it's
just-
waste generally. I don't think it's just food.
Yeah, maybe it's just also his little restaurant part that does the ton of waste, whereas the whole stadium's probably a lot more.
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
Okay.
guys, I'm not good. I don't know. You are much more au fait with talking in
No,
metrics
it's
of
just a guess
tons.
number. I'll give you the units in tons.
100?
That's a lot of tons.
Yeah.
You know, I always think a ton is a Land Rover. I'm going to go 30 Land Rovers. 30 tons, please.
You've got it. Bang on, 30.
30, there you go. That still sounds like quite a lot to me.
Yeah, but I think this is waste generally. Maybe.
Yeah. It's got to be. Because that hospitality, honestly, we was in the bougie one for like a day before to sort of sample the menu, and it was not many tables. So if they made a ton of waste, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, question 2. Across the US, sports venues generate how many tons of food waste every year? Or you can guess it in Olympic swimming pools.
God. I could say something quite horrible about Americans here, but I'm not going to. I'll bite my tongue and just say the Ryder Cup. All American stadiums.
All sports venues. Is this
5.
all sports venues? Oh, yeah.
5 billion.
1 billion.
I can't. No, do you know what? I think this is 1. I think this is an average for one sports venue. I think. Don't know. Shall I give you the answer and then we can guess what it might be? Okay, it's 38,000 tonnes, which is enough to fill 70 Olympic swimming pools. But this one is specifically only food waste. So imagine 70 swimming pools filled with rotting food.
I don't need to imagine that.
Is that in a year? In a year?
Yeah.
It's a lot in it.
Okay, I've got your final one now. Strawberries and cream. We're moving on to tennis. How many strawberries do you reckon are needed across the 2 weeks of Wimbledon?
I think everyone's heard this at least once in their life.
Is this the one that you get right?
It's the one that I think I should, but I just know I don't know it. Like,
I'm going to say
52.
1.2 million.
And you said how many, Laurence?
How many tons?
No. How many strawberries?
Oh, okay. I was 3 million.
It's 2 million
So
strawberries.
it's midway between. Okay. Makes sense.
Wow.
Which makes sense.
So now we're moving to closing off this. What I wanted to really ask was around regulation, and particularly with regards to sport. Do you think that this needs to be something that is regulated? Because, you know, sports is fairly self-governing, in particular football. You know, it's governed generally by the leagues. Do you think this is something that should be part of, like, their licensing, for example?
Yes.
think so. Yeah.
I think if they've got the responsibility of all of those people coming to one space, then it's surely their responsibility to do what happens in the venues, right?
I mean, I'm going to leave it there because I think that was a good closer. Yes.
It's like my household thing. It's like, if it's your kingdom, it's your home, it's your responsibility. If it's your stadium, your issue, you're bringing these people here, you should deal with it.
But it's also not just your home if it's your stadium, it's the community's home as well. So,
Yeah.
well, there we go.
There
Heard
we go.
it here. Well, it has been a pleasure to introduce you both and to have you on here, Lagom.
Thank you.
Great man.
Thank you very much for joining us. Laurence, any parting words for Martyn?
Martyn, it's more that I'm kind of more familiar with your work. I feel like my main question is really just how can I make most of the bread that I'm not eating?
There's loads of options. One, it depends what kind of bread you got. But bread is fantastic in the freezer because all you need to do is put it in the toaster and it turns into toast. If you're a bit bougie and you got sourdough or anything like that, slicing it thin, turn it into like little crostinis, little flat ones. I mean, you'll wake up at night at some point and have some Philadelphia cheese and some crackers, so you might as well make your own. Croutons, breadcrumbs, bread and butter pudding, bread sauce. It's endless. Melba toast, classics.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I said, it's about
And
caring.
where can we go for all these tips?
Lagom Chef on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or you can just email me and I'm always there to help.
Dear Martyn, it's me, Laurence, again.
There you go.
Found some more things that I don't know how to use. Is it okay if I put these?
I'm here to help.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much.